You're just saying.
I will go, boom, and fall down. As long as they don't start wearing Adidas, I'm fine.
I'm going with Westbrook, Brooke Lopez, Serge Ibaka. I'm actually going with Nicholas Batum. And I need a two guard. Oh, goodness gracious. There's going to be a push on there. I'm not even sure who I would go with for two right now. But definitely those four.
Okay. All right. I'm going with Serge Ibaka, Kenneth Faried, LaMarcus Aldridge. I'm just going big.
You're like my fantasy team.
You're gonna have four.
And I'm going
forwards.
Yeah. Did you see who I drafted? It was just a bunch of big men.
Let's see. If Kevin Durant wasn't okay, I'm just gonna go. Okay, let's just pretend. Okay, Kevin Durant.
I picked Kevin anyway.
Okay,
because you said who would you want to have?
Yeah, exactly.
I would want to have Kevin.
I want to have Kevin Durant too, and
I don't care if he's hurt or not. Eventually, he comes back.
You know what, man, this would be close. It's out of. I'm gonna go ahead and go with Russell because I would choose Russell or Ty, but I'm going with Russell just because the top five. That's what I would think in that division there. That Russell be in there, but Ty Lawson should be on this team as well. So
next.
Oh, yeah. So, all right, let's keep it moving. We'll go ahead and talk about the Pacific Division.
Specific division?
Yeah, let's be real.
Specificity.
Let's be real specific.
The specificity of the division.
All right, the Los Angeles Clippers.
Ice.
I didn't say Lakers. I said Clippers.
Ice.
I still get that.
I still ice.
You still get that ice.
Ice.
All right, the Los Angeles Clippers, they won 57 games, lost 25.
No.
Pretty much they added Spencer Hawes. I mean, just key additions, just so I remember talking. And then Darren Collison is actually not on the team anymore. So he's
darn.
Yeah. He's wanting to start, and I don't blame him for that. And of course, Chris Paul definitely is a man in LA.
You ain't starting there.
You're not starting in front of Chris Paul.
Unless he got traded to New Orleans.
So, Darren Collison is in Sacramento.
God damn our ugly jerseys. I hate sleeve jerseys.
All right, so this
we can do a whole podcast on me hating sleeved jerseys.
This is a team
even though I play in sleeves.
That still is going to have the same starting five they did last year. Chris Paul, J.J. Redick, Matt Barnes, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan.
Yep.
Their little bench is a little bit different. Jamal Crawford, Spencer Hawes is coming off the bench. So this team here was very close to going to the Western Conference Finals, but they just didn't. They just called a better team, huh?
Yep.
So let's discuss this team here because just a quote JJ had thrown out there, Redick. There's absolutely a sense of urgency. You never know how many opportunities you're going to have like this. This is a team that has a legitimate chance to win a championship.
If any of us decide to play defense.
So,
besides Jordan. There you go.
So let's go ahead and talk about
that. Was his whole quote. They didn't finish it.
So I mean, this team
added that in.
pretty much. Yeah. This is the team that's probably got the Warren's best two punch in their division right now with Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. I think that way everybody would agree. In their division. You like So your initial thoughts about the Clippers here?
Same as it was last year. Play defense. Do something else. Let Blake's game evolve into just being a dunk show.
Yeah.
Stay healthy because you have no depth. And then we'll see what happens. But that's all the things you need to do.
All right, your initial thoughts on the MCL?
I'm an eye.
The depth is a little better this year. And the Clippers has always, recently always been the sexy pick. But let's call it like it is. They still show softness in the playoffs, and until they get over that, they will never make a deep playoff run. Because when they lose in the playoffs, they really lose.
Yeah.
They rely too much on finesse.
Yes.
They rely way too much on being finesse.
Well, I mean...
They need some grit.
Yep. DeAndre Jordan...
Matt Barnes can't be that by himself.
Jordan shows some grit at times as well, but the rest of them play pretty ball, is what I consider.
Well, what are some of the weaknesses y'all see in this team, particularly not getting over the hump?
They play pretty ball.
Pretty ball.
They
That's
play
one of
pretty
them?
ball. Yeah.
All right,
They
you-
try to
They
be
play pretty ball.
friendly
Mhm.
instead of showing that when they need to come down to it, showing the toughness, they still want to play pretty ball. No, you can't play pretty ball in the playoffs. You got to play with some type of passion and with some type of physicalness. And they don't. They play pretty ball.
The one thing that really missing with this team here is that a wing player that's been looking for.
Or that person to take people's knees out.
The wing, that too. The wing, the small forward position for them. I know Matt Barnes, and I watched him in Orlando when he played for Orlando. But you need someone that can be able to get their own shot at that position, because that forward position is so deep in the league nowadays. That okay, yeah, you can defend on the one side of the ball here, but you need to also have someone put pressure on them on the other end. Matt Barnes don't really do that, so they really need to try to find a piece for that, or at least a small forward, or at least a wing that can score. You expect them to probably have some trade discussions in the midpoint of the season, CL?
Well, they're full of wings, so something has to give. I mean, Jamal Crawford, J.J. Redick, Barnes, they have the wings. This is the deal. Doc Rivers has to utilize these pieces better as well, because I would love to see a lineup of Paul, Redick, and Crawford out there at the same time. I would love that. You see what I'm saying?
I got you.
He has these pieces. Let's be inventive with this lineup. You are what you are. They can't just wake up the next day and be like, hey, we're going to play with grit. It takes time to develop that. But in the meantime, maximize your strengths. So, I mean, they have a very flexible lineup. If he can be more creative with that lineup, they may be able to go on spurts here and there to try to offset the softness that they play with at times.
Right.
Also, let's be real. Chris Paul has gotten a pass for years, okay? I love his game, but sometimes you do have to be a little selfish to win. And he hasn't shown that the last two playoff series.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. And as much pressure as everybody else get on not winning a title, he should definitely be in that discussion. And
Yeah. It's time now for him to catch some heat.
I agree, because we still consider him one of the top point guards, if not by most people, is the top point guard in the game. So it's time for him to definitely step up to the plate here, because there's some moments where this offense does stall, especially in the playoffs. And it's hard for them, as much as offensive time they have, it's hard for them to get a shot. The shots doesn't fall. Chris Paul, believe it or not, some of these guards are bigger than him, so he's got to work
No,
extra.
you're kidding.
Yeah, he got to work a little bit extra hard to try to find a shot.
I'm taller than Chris Paul.
So, I mean,
Oh.
there's a lot of pressure on this guy. And Jamal Crawford, he can get high in the minute, but then the minute there's where he can get cold. So
Yep.
this is the team that needs somebody else that is, because J.J. Redick and Jamal Crawford, yes, they can create their own shot, but you like to have someone. I like to think at the small forward position that can create their own shot. Besides, like, you got Matt Barnes. I already mentioned Matt Barnes on the one side of the ball. You
still got Turkoglu, though. You still got Turkoglu. And
Yeah.
even though he's lost the step,
He did
give
lose
him the
his-
ball and let him create for the people.
And that's the thing about Turkoglu. He can still
So,
pass. He can still pass the ball particularly well. So
That's what I'm saying, yeah, so-
730.
why not? I guess a good thing, CL. Why not run him like a point forward and let Chris play off the ball a little bit? That is smart. So I agree with you.
That goes back to Doc Rivers has to utilize this roster, okay? Like, again, they're not going to flip the switch and all of a sudden play with grit. So you have to maximize what you have, okay?
Right.
Give Hedo the ball, let him go. Take the pressure off of Chris Paul. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We know DeAndre Jordan is an offensive liability. We know Big Baby, as ugly as his game is, he can create shots.
Yeah. Very true.
You see? Chris Douglas Roberts, he can defend. Still got Jordan Farmar. He can run an offense, okay? So they have depth. They have pieces. Spencer Hawes is one of the best passing big men in the league when he's healthy.
Yeah.
You have to utilize pieces. And Doc's a great coach. We know that. I go back to Doc's days in Orlando when he didn't have much, but he maximized that roster. He has to get back to that mentality.
Totally agree. Well, he does bring in some new faces as a coach. Mike Woodson, Lawrence Frank, and Sam Cassell are on his bench now. So maybe these guys can probably see something that he's not seeing that you're mentioning, CL, and help him try to get this team over the hump. Because this is a quality assistant coach that he got here now. Lawrence Frank, Mike Woodson, all had their own successes every now and then. We know Mike Woodson had a thing in New York where they just had it for him. But the year before, he actually did a pretty decent job with them. Lawrence Frank had his own.
Yeah, he got shafted in New York.
Yeah, he did.
But you're just talking like the man died. You went Mike Woodson, and then they did.
Right, but
he passed away.
No, but
you like. Woodson.
But no, but it's just like I was talking like he got.
It was just funny though. You went from being up there, and you were like, "But Mike Woodson."
But
it's like he got shot his puppy.
Well, the way he got treated in New York.
He got treated.
Crap.
He got treated horrible in New York.
It was crap.
It was just funny though, because you went from being up, and then you was like, "But then poor Mike Woodson." It was like he died.
I was trying to sell it to the listeners.
You were selling it all. Yeah.
So this team would be interesting.
It's like they took Mike Woodson out back and shot him. Or like he got bit by a zombie and they had to off him or something like that. Poor Mike Woodson. He didn't start crying.
Oh gosh. Oh Lord.
Yeah, Mike Woodson. He got kicked out of New York.
All right, Golden State. This last year was 51-31. This is a team that added Sean Livingston, Brandon Rush, Leandro Barbosa, and they lost Steve Blake. So,
way to put him in the additions column.
Yeah, I know. I kind of messed that up there typing.
Oh, don't worry. I say
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So this team here, Sean Livingston had a heck of a postseason. Well, decent postseason last year. So I mean, what do you think about the addition to this team with Sean Livingston and Leandro Barbosa, Brandon Rush? What do you think, CL? Your thoughts about them additions to the Golden State?
Did they have anybody that actually can play any defense? Did they?
I like Golden State, but I still have a sour taste in my mouth about the Mark Jackson exit. God, I really love their offense, the potential of their offense. I think Clay and Stephen are going to have another breakout year together. Bogut hopefully can stay healthy this year. David Lee, I love their game offensively, but as Kevin said, defensively, they're really going to lag. Even with Barbosa, I mean, he's never been known for defense. They're really going to lag.
Majorly in defense.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be like a black hole of defense.
And what do I always tell you? Exactly. You don't have any. Guess what? You do not win. Exactly.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Muscle for you.
As a head coach, it's still unproven.
Because look at everybody in the
too
West.
Many question marks.
Look at everybody in the West, and look who they end up running into. They end up running into one of the only teams in the West that actually plays defense. And look what happens. They win. The team that plays defense wins. And you don't play no defense, guess what? You don't go very far.
So, do you think this is because Klay Thompson? They was in rumors about trading him, so now he's got for that new contract
for that other guy,
and he's up later discussion
for that one guy that don't play no defense.
They're trying to see what they can do as far with the contract, everything like that, and they saying the camps are way off. So, you gonna add a little bit about that with Klay and his camp about the contract talks and what's going on with that, and do you think this will be a distraction upcoming this season?
Well, I mean, what way off is only $3 million, okay? Clay is looking for $15 million, and they're offering $12 million. So, I mean, it's not as a way off as what people make it seem to be. And I don't think losing Clay is worth $3 million. So Golden State really has to step up to the plate with that. With that being said, though, it's almost like the management showing a lack of confidence in Clay. And that's a deadly game to play when you have a player of that caliber. And they're not really paying anyone else but Curry, so it's not like they're cap strapped. Someone else that we forgot to mention who may be coming off the bench is Andre Iguodala. Let's not forget he's there too. Okay, but back to Clay, it's $3 million Get a man his money.